Marsa! How? How did you escape the hospital? Come on, I have to take you back. You're still...
Selena, I have never been better. Don't worry about me, Selena. Worry about yourself.
Mr. Abraxas, you have to help me. What Marsa's trying to do can completely ruin us.
Did you just say us, or am I going deaf lately?
Your ears are fine, Mr. Abraxas, as sharp as a wolf's. But I won't be anyone's scapegoat.
You sadden me, Malcolm. I've always considered you my all-star student.
You have to help me get out of this mess. You think Marcus Member isn't coming for you too?
Is Marsa's existence that troubling?
Yes!
Okay, so what's the solution? I always bet on that brain of yours, my dear, dear Malcolm.
You really are a good friend.
This is what I hate about humans. Ungrateful.
Mr. Malcolm, did you know that what happened to Marsa was no accident?
Listen, Detective, I'm sure you're fully aware that our relationship ended after Marsa's decision to break her contract with me.
Wait, was it not you who ended things? I mean, if she was the one that ended it with you, then I can't imagine you were very happy.
Are you accusing me of something?
Now, would I just come here and accuse someone of attempted murder in his own jacuzzi of all places? Have a good night, Mr. Malcolm. We'll meet again soon.
Marsa?
Breaking news. It is reported that late last night, gunshots were heard from inside the house of famous singer Marsa. One person is reported dead, but we have no information as to who it was just yet. Another unknown body was also found near the singer's house. The Jane Doe is said to have been shot by an officer after shots were fired between the two of them. Singer Marsa is still in critical condition, and cops are still on the lookout for a car that was seen at the scene of the crime.
Kevin?
Mary, I'm glad you're with me on this case.
Are you sure it's not the other way around?
Kevin, head of the investigation department.
There are no signs of forced entry. The victim just walked in.
Any signs that there might have been an attempted robbery?
None. The house is tidy. No signs that someone was going through looking for things. Her room is also filled with valuables that the robber would have wanted to take.
Have we identified the victim yet?
He has no form of identification on him. We're working on it.
I've compiled a list of all of those who knew Marsa, as well as who called her lately.
We need to get our hands on all the camera footage of the surrounding streets and buildings. I need a sample of that taken and analysed, please.
I've just been informed that the police officer that was injured in the street just next door around the time of our murder has just regained consciousness.
I was doing my shift, and I heard on the police radio that a suspicious person was roaming around Building 36. Hey, what are you doing there? Stop! Don't move! Stop, or I'll have to shoot! Stop! Don't move! Stop, or I'll have to shoot!
Do you remember what time you got that police radio notice?
Of course, it was just past 11.
Sorry, but how do you know the exact time?
My favorite Batman radio podcast comes on at 11 exactly, and I got the notice just a few minutes after it started.
Batman show?
Batman podcast show.
Well, you're the real hero now. Okay, so you said you heard the gunshot while you were chasing that guy. Were you able to identify which direction or which building the sound came from?
It was really hard to understand where it came from because I was running at the time.
Okay, thank you. Batman show.
Not a show, a Batman podcast. Hello, Bijad? Do you have any news?
Something strange happened. Marsa's phone sent a message to someone called Abraxas.
And what do you mean Marsa's phone sent a message? Who sent the message, Bijad?
I swear to you, the message sent itself. No one touched it.
Is the phone hacked? Is there any sign of tampering?
No, we followed up with the technical team here, and they've assured us that the phone is clean and not hacked.
So how?
It's probably possible that the message was sent before, but the network delayed the action because the receiver's network wasn't working. But I don't know how likely that is.
Okay, so this case just got weirder.
I think coffee is good investigation etiquette.
This isn't a formal investigation.
Why did it not work out?
What do you mean?
With your husband, I mean. Former husband, sorry. You are stunning, sensual. I do not understand these young men.
How do you know that? Is it not possible that I just don't wear it at work?
You've tried your best to make that relationship work, my dear. You tried cooking. That's obvious seeing all those new cook burns on your hands. But he didn't appreciate a thing you did he?
Those are actually just minor work-related injuries.
I do appreciate liars, but only one that's are actually believable.
When did you last see Marsa?
Marsa? I haven't seen Marsa in years. Just at the start of her career, when I introduced her to Malcolm, so that he can help her make a name for herself.
Strange, because we've seen that she sent you a message recently and that you're on her frequent calls list.
I honestly don't understand this message, either when multiple news reports have said she's in a coma.
Marsa was killed in her hospital bed last night, Mr. Abraxas.
Marsa what?
If we need to finish this investigation formally, as you were one of the few that were in contact with Marsa, would you have a problem with that?
I would have a problem if I didn't get to see this pretty face again.
Don't worry, I have a feeling you'll see it often. He's a very strange man. You couldn't tell if his natural reaction was to be calm and strong in times of shock, or he was just pretending to be calm so that he wouldn't seem weak. But he's definitely a very smart man, and he does not seem to have known anything about Marsa's death.
And what's your explanation for the message?
I honestly have no clue, and he sincerely seems to not have a clue either. Going through her phone bills for the past month, it's also clear that they actually have not been in contact, at least over the phone, for months.
Okay, calm down. You wouldn't be defending him so much if he was your best friend. Is he that handsome?
I don't think I have to remind you about my temper. Watch how you speak to me. Your style is getting old. You do the same thing always. You start by throwing everyone under the bus, suggesting that there is a chance that they're pretty guilty. When the culprit is finally caught, you take credit away because, hey, you did say. So everyone claps and cheers at your brilliant investigative talents, despite everyone knowing that this outdated theory that wastes everyone's time and just stretching the case longer, but hey, at least you get to feel real special.
Damn, this handsome, huh? I guess even more better looking than I was expecting. Next time, maybe ask him how he puts on that calm, stable act. You need it.
How long will you ignore every phone call? No friends, no work. How long will this go on for?
I told you I don't want to talk to anyone these days. I told you leave me to myself. You have every jurisdiction to run this place as you please.
We aren't just colleagues. We're friends. I can't see you like this and say nothing. Why don't you at least travel somewhere? It'll change your mood. Calm you down.
I was just thinking that. You finally come up with a good idea. Book me the first flight you can to London.
Until we get a result of the blood sample we found under the rug, the two cases are still connected, somehow.
Why was Marcia killed?
That's the most important question, I think. In this case, we're presented with 3 dead bodies. 2 Jane Does and 1 famous celebrity who just decided to retire. Right before her retirement, she hosted a huge charity concert and donated half of her fortune. All reports show that she does not really have any enemies.
But Malcolm was her producer, and she broke their partnership off.
Malcolm tried leaving the country the other day. I had a ban issued on him travelling, and he's been in police custody ever since.
So Malcolm would not have been able to kill her at the hospital.
That doesn't make him innocent. It also doesn't rule out the fact that he's under investigation for the attempted murder for the car accident that he allegedly caused. The car that was found burnt at the side of the road just after Marcia's car crash was registered under one of his company names. Marcia's phone log shows 3 people who talked to her that day. Malcolm, he called her. Selena, her manager, just before the show, nothing suspicious here. And third, someone called Carl, and he's also the last person to visit Marcia at the hospital.
You'll get a file on him in a few minutes.
Since the victim fell right here, based on the information given by the forensics data, this is a distance where the shooter had to be, next to the door, pointing the gun this way. But the blood spilled near the carpet that had matched the victim has come from a wound in the victim's lower head. The reports show that the wound, made by a sharp object, was not strong enough to knock him unconscious. He flinches and holds himself up by putting this hand, like this, on this chair. As he stands here, he's shot dead with a bullet to his head.
So the victim wasn't aware of the killer.
Either that, or he did know he was there, but he was betrayed by him. What is obvious is that we're not dealing with an amateur killer. He shot the bullet from right here, precise, calm, execution style. He also managed to clean the mess he did in record time because he heard the gunshot outside. But this is only the half of it. As of now, we can't tell the media anything, not even this much. Let the criminals assume that we're confused. We're dealing with connected crimes, but different killers.
As for the second killer outside, after he shoots the police officer and runs away, he chokes to death. There are visible marks on his neck, almost as if someone had grabbed him from it with all their force.
Exactly. So there seems to be two different teams at play trying to get something valuable out of Marsa's apartment. And I think someone betrayed the other, and now it's a game of cat and mouse.
The man killed in the street. His cause of death is a fracture to the neck from being grabbed by extreme force. Some sort of metallic force.
What do you mean? Like a metal chain or something?
No, actually. Well, I can't really explain it. But the neck fracture is obviously caused by a strong hand grip. We can see finger-shaped bruises around his neck.
That's just perfect. An iron fist, huh? We need all the cameras available around that street.
There have been different statements released by the investigations office related to the murder that took place in singer Marsa's apartment just before she died in the hospital, also hinting that Marsa's death might be ruled out as a murder as well. This case that has now become the talk of the people does not seem to be closing anytime soon.
Carl, you were the last person to visit Mary before she died.
I don't deny being there, but I left after an hour. You can check the cameras.
Why did you visit her?
Me and Marsa, we were dating. We were in love. We dated for years.
But that was ages ago. The relationship ended just as Marsa's career kicked off. That means she left you just as she got famous. That must have hurt. You must have hated her.
Of course not. We broke up. She chose fame, yes. She chose her career, her future, but that's not enough to make me hate her or ever think of hurting her.
I never said you hurt her.
Then why are you interrogating me?
I'm dealing with a triple homicide and killers on the loose. I'm interrogating everyone.
Do you love Marsa?
I still love Marsa. I will never love anyone else. After Marsa left Malcolm's company, she started changing, going back to the Marsa I've always known and loved.
You work as a network engineer?
Yeah.
Do you know anyone called Abraxas?
Abraxas? That's a demon sent from hell. He's the cause of everything bad that's ever happened to Marsa. He's the one that introduced her to that low-life Malcolm and took her away from me.
Singer Marsa's infamous manager Selena announced just moments ago that Marsa was actually backing out of her decision to retire. Selena shares that Marsa realized that her decision was an emotional one and was planning a big return to stardom after taking a short break.
Detective Kevin from the investigations office.
Please, come in.
I do know that Detective Mary has already asked you a few questions about your relationship with Marsa.
But she clearly stated that I was not being questioned, but that it was rather a chat.
Sure. Let's call it that then. I think a longer chat is in order.
Despite really enjoying my chat with Mary, I like your type of human. Confident, smart. Every move is calculated. You know exactly what you want. You do lack patience, though. That and absolutely no understanding of teenagers. I think your daughter is the only case you can't seem to solve.
I see why Mary had a little crush on you. Very smart indeed. But what I don't understand, Mr. Abraxas, is what you have to fear. It's all over you, I can smell it. Your feet, they shake so nervously.
Fear? I fear nothing!
All that confidence, The ego, I'm sure you're not reacting well to this newfound fear. Mr. Abraxas, what is your relation with Marsa? How are these messages getting to you? Abraxas, I need you to come to me. Marsa, where are you? How do you not know where I am? You got these messages minutes after Marsa died.
If you do get to those answers, I would be the first to want to know.
In your opinion, as a talent manager, can you tell me what makes someone as successful as Marsa want to retire?
Is this an interrogation or a talk show interview?
The interrogation will happen in the interrogation room. I'm asking you as someone with experience in producing and in Marsa personally.
You can ask her manager. That's been with her every step of the way.
That we can agree on. But we'll meet again soon. I hope you bring some of that brilliant calmness with you when you do come.
I think you missed Selena's last public announcement. Marsa was actually planning to back out of the retirement plans, apparently.
Did you let Carl go?
Witnesses in the hospital testified that he was in fact not there at the time of her death. The lethal dose she was given takes an hour to activate. He was seen leaving 4 hours too early for it to be him.
The great Abraxas you talked about, that wasn't the person I met today. This Abraxas is much weaker than you described. Sadness has taken a toll on his face.
Sadness because of the loss of Marsa?
I'm not too sure. He's a strange man. I have this feeling that he does have a hand to play in their death.
If this was the same Abraxas I met the first time, I would agree. But if he is really in this sad state, then it really might be because of his love for Marsa. He might be feeling the loss, but of course, you are the last person on Earth to understand anything about love.
I like it when you get sassy and oppose everything I say.
Well, you're in luck. You're gonna love me for as long as you can live.
I'm afraid so.
Abraxas. Abraxas.
Marsa. And so it begins.